Hi. Hey. Hi. It's me, your Void. And it's award season? Question mark. I know this time of year has the Goodreads Choice Awards, and I think also a couple of other book awards going around, but I don't care about that, so I made my own. These are 100% inspired by Kirsty's book awards. I like so much so that I actually asked her, hey, what categories do you use? And I used a bunch of hers. But yeah, here we are. Book awards, my personal book awards. What is this about? Well, it's basically me kind of categorizing the best and the worst, and handing out imaginary awards to these books. So we're doing some highs and lows of my reading this year, which was a lot. I am over 150 books deep into this year, and like I'm still baffled by the fact that I made it this far. Like, wow. Like 3 years ago, I was lucky when I hit my yearly goal of 52. I tripled that this year. Wow. No idea how I did that. So I have 5 different categories for like just the best and the worst in general, and then I will crown the winners of the different genres I'm reading predominantly, and also different formats. Cool? Cool. Let's go. We are going to start strong with just flat out the best book I read this year, and it has to go to A Lady for Duke by Alexis Hall. I read this in February, and this is the first time ever I would actually give 6 stars to a book. I don't do that. I rate between 1 and 5, and below 1 is usually a DNF. I would like to give this 6 stars if I could, according to my own rating scale. This book is just. I don't know why it hit me the way it did, but it did. I just love every single thing about this. There is not a single flaw I could list about this. This is how good this is, in my opinion. I love this one so much. Yeah, I can't tell you why. This should not be the best book of my year. It shouldn't, because it is a romance. It is a historical book. The only thing that would kind of land this book in a realm where I actually would want to read it is the fact that it is queer, because our main character is a trans woman. But other than that, nothing in this should be interesting to me. The fact that I own this book is a miracle in and of itself, and that it just blew me away. I love this. This is the best book I read this year. The worst book I read this year, total opposite, was a friend's suggestion. Said friend told me to read it. I was a guinea pig for this. I was supposed to read this because they wanted to know if the books are any good, because they love the video game based on the books. I am talking about Metro 2033 by Dmitry Glukhovsky. I very rarely give 1-star reviews, because usually I DNF a book before I reached that low of a rating. But I had the audiobook for this, so I had someone reading it to me when I could not be asked to pay attention to it, and I was suffering through it for a friend. Those are the only 2 things that made me survive this book, because I wanted to throw this one away after 100 pages. Well, technically I wanted to throw this away after 200 pages. The first 100 pages were so boring that I was like, this cannot be this boring all throughout. I was wrong. This book follows a guy walking through the subway system, which is now housing people because the world died to an apocalypse, and we just meet very strange people that all have their own philosophy, and they stick around long enough to explain this philosophy to this main character, and then the main character just keeps going, and the plot armor this boy has is just, wow. I'm pretty sure he could run around naked in the nuclear war zone upstairs and be fine. That is how strong his plot armor is. This book is so boring. It's so boring. And it takes itself so serious. It thinks itself so intelligent and clever, and no. This is the worst thing I read this year. I gave this 1 star, and I wanted to DNF at page 200. I hate you, Lee, for making me read this. The award for the best cover of books I read this year goes to The Night Circus. If you know me, and maybe if you have been around my channel for a while, you will see certain design elements that I just love. First and foremost, the black and red color combination with shiny silver. Can I make it shiny? I don't know. You probably can't see it, but it's like all of the silver has foiling, and like the swooping lines of the circus tents, and then the aesthetic of our two main characters is yes, yes, yes. I just am very much in love with this cover. There is a more muted version of this cover, I guess I could say, with less swooping lines and definitely without all the glitter. I believe it's just one circus tent in the background and the characters and the watch on top of that. But this one is just so pretty, and I just love that style. And the fact that it's also exactly representing the aesthetics of the circus in the book, because the circus itself is all black and white with like a dash of red. This is such a pretty cover! Like, you can say about the book what you want. I know a bunch of people don't like it, but the cover is so stunning. And the worst book cover goes to one of the funniest reads I had this year. This award goes to The Fating by the authors on screen. Read it for yourself. I have broken down this cover before in my 31 and 31 challenge. I think it is part 2. No, it's part 1, and should be in part 1, where I explained that this cover is just horrendous. I mean, you can see it for yourself. It's horrendous. It's just a guy photoshopped to be green, and then when you zoom in, you can see stars on his chesticles. I mean, it is story relevant. The guy is green, and he does have stars on his chesticles that glow, but oh my god, also, why is this alien wearing jeans? And why are the jeans purple like the Hulk? What is happening? What is happening? This is so ugly. The book is great, the book is hilarious, but oh my god, this cover is so bad. It's so bad. And I have to give a shout out to the second place here, because in the very same video, in my 31 and 31 challenge part 1, in the very same video, I'm also breaking down the cover of Love, Laugh, Lich, which is just a very bad Photoshop job. It's so bad. But the award for the worst cover goes to The Fading, because that's just at least with the Lich one, someone took the time to fit pieces together. This one is just a color shift. This one's just a color shift. It's so bad. It's so bad. And now we come to the best in genre and format situation I have going on. I have 8 of these for you, and we will start off with the best fantasy I read this year, and that has to go to Brent Weeks' The Blinding Knife, which is book 2 in the Lightbringer series. Despite the Magic the Gathering side quest we had going on with Cap, this was just, yes, solid fantasy read with an interesting magic system, complicated politics, and a war in the background that needs to be fought. And we have the sides preparing for it with their own political scheming. We have a batshit religion going on. We also have magical, natural disasters that we have to deal with while we are also preparing for war. Like, our military leader has to go out and deal with these natural disasters before they destroy his own troops, before he can even send them to war. This is so good. I love everything about this, except the raging misogyny and the weird Magic the Gathering side plot, but like, wow. And the ending! Like, I was expecting 1 or 2 things that happened at the end, but wow, there were a lot of twists, and all of them went places. Holy shit! I love this so much. I loved The Black Prism, which is book 1. I loved The Blinding Knife, which is book 2. And next year, I'm probably going to read The Broken Eye, which is book 3. I wanted to read this right after finishing this. I just didn't have the time to do it. So, next up we have the best romance, and no, I'm not picking up A Lady for a Duke again. It's already the best book. Technically, it is the best romance I read this year, but I want to give more books a spotlight, so to speak. So I have to say the best romance I read this year was Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert, which is the 3rd book in the Brown Sisters series, which I binge read this year. And it's a funny story with the trilogy. Like, I have a favorite character, I have a favorite romance, and I have a favorite book overall, and it is each one of the 3. Like, my favorite character is Red. My favorite romance is Danny and Z, and my favorite book overall is the 3rd one, which is Act Your Age, Eve Brown. And I just, yes, this is one of those books where it was like, why am I liking this? It's a contemporary romance. I should not have liked it, but here we are. I love the Brown sisters. I love them. They are amazing. And yes, the romance between these two is just so good. It's just so good. Like, they are such different characters with such different vibes, and they are amazed by the fact that they are actually feeling things for each other. Like, they are confused by what they are feeling for each other, because by all logic, they should not like each other, and yet they fit perfectly, and I'm so here for it. Next up, we have the best horror book I read this year. I read quite a few horrors this year, but the best by far is The Spirit Bears Its Teeth by Andrew Joseph White. This is my favorite Andrew Joseph White as well. This is Victorian Gothic. We have ghosts. We have also the horrors of just being human. Like, the ghosts are not the most horrific thing in this book. It's actually other people and how society treats you. I mean, we all know society is the end boss of the game called life, right? But like, this is just so good. It's not even horror because it's a YA novel, so we are not deep diving into all of the batshit crazy stuff that a horror novel could technically pull. But this is so visceral. This is so visceral in its expression about things, what these kids go through, what our main character Silas goes through, what society is doing to people, and how it is just justified by the people in charge. It's just, it is such a visceral experience, this book. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. Best horror I read this year. Can only recommend. The biggest surprise of my year was Kindred by Octavia Butler. Why was I surprised by this book? Well, for some reason, I guess I'm kind of ageist when it comes to books. I thought, okay, this is it's a strange concept to have this lady travel through time and then having to live in both time periods, like both the present and the past of slave time America. I don't quite know what year it was, but basically every time she travels back in time, she has to live as a black woman in the South during a time where slave trade was still happening. So the concept itself was like, okay, kind of strange, and it was written in the 70s. So I was like, okay, how good of a semi-fantasy novel can this thing be? And then I read it, and it read like legitimately like a modern work. Like, it read like a fantasy book you can inhale nowadays. I don't even know why I thought it would not work. It's just when a book is that old, I have a little like, is this really going to be good? Is this going to be easy to digest? Or not easy to digest, is this something I can read without having to translate a different kind of English, basically? I have the same issue with older fantasy books. I have the same issue with older historical books. Like, every time a book is written, let's say pre the 90s, I'm like, I'm scared I don't understand what you're talking about because of the way people talked back then. It is such a dumb thought to have. It's such a dumb thing to feel, but it is what it is. So I went into this being like, okay, this is going to be old-timey stuff. And it wasn't. It really wasn't. It really wasn't. You can read it this year like I did, and you could say, okay, the present storyline of these people takes place in this year. It is legit that solid of a read. So that was kind of why I was so surprised, like how solid the language, the writing holds up. Not even the story, just how well the way it was written holds up 50 years after it was written. And that was just really cool. I like that fact of it. So yeah, solid surprise. The next genre I have for you is sci-fi, and the best sci-fi novel goes to Velocity Weapon by Megan E. O'Keefe. This book is so good, except a side plot that is probably going to be important in the other books. This thing is perfection. We have a sassy first and foremost, it's set in space. I love me a sci-fi that is set in space. I love space. Period. And we have a sassy spaceship. He is amazing. He's sassy, but he's also like the strongest weapon in the solar system he exists in. And he's also just a lonely little boy who wants to have friends. This is just I love Bero. Bero is just the bestest boy. I love him. And then we have our main characters who are just as sassy and they just riff off of each other and it is so good. And these characters are also going through some shit in this book. Like, there is an interplanetary war going on. There is the politics afoot. There is even a heist in the side storyline. Like, this book gives you everything you want, and then some, actually. I can't even tell you too much about it if I were to break down the story, because everything that happens in the second half of the book is a major spoiler. There is a plot twist smack down in the middle of this book that turns everything else into a major spoiler, so yeah. But this one is good shit, and if you like to read space stuff, read this. And I picked this up because it was marketed. It was recommended to me as a sci-fi that is really good for sci-fi beginners coming from fantasy. I read a lot of fantasy, so I was like, this is the perfect book for me. And yes, that is correct. If you are a fantasy reader and you want to get into sci-fi, this is a really good pick, because it does read like a sci-fi, but instead of magic and, let's say, dragons, you have spaceships and technology. But it's not like forced upon you with like all of these scientific explanations. It's very easy to get into when you can wrap your head around different magic systems. Can only recommend if you are a fantasy reader looking to expand your horizon into sci-fi. Now we have the intersection between genre and format, because I don't quite know how we classify non-fiction, but the best non-fiction I read this year is Why We Sleep by Professor, I'm not quite sure, Matthew Walker. And this is a book explaining how and why we sleep, which is a fascinating topic, because although we spend 1/3 of our day sleeping, well, ideally sleeping, we don't exactly know why we need to do it. We have not figured out why humans need to sleep, why animals need to sleep. We do not know why nature needs everything that lives to power down for 1/3 of its day to just recharge. Like, we know the mechanics behind sleeping, we just don't know why that's necessary. What is the process behind that? He also cuts into the science of dreaming a bit, which is even weirder. We don't know shit about that. Like, as soon as we get some shut-eye, it's a medical mystery, and that is just incredibly fascinating, and the whole science behind it. And apparently there's not a lot of people going into that science, which is also kind of a fascinating fact. So yeah, if you ever wanted to know how and why sleep, read this book. It's really fascinating. And now we fully dive into the whole format thingamathing thing with the best comic I read this year, which is House of Slaughter Volume 2, Scarlet. This is one of the House of Slaughter volumes that follows a character to explain their mask colors, because every single mask color has a different job in the Slaughterverse, and the House of Slaughter series is a spin-off to Something is Killing the Children, where we get more expansion on the lore. And in this one we follow Edwin, who is sent out to a summer camp to write down what is going on there and determine if it needs further intervention by the house, or if it's just a serial killer going around killing kids. And Edwin has a little, let's call it, personal crisis while he's on the job, and he's questioning a lot of things about himself. And yeah. And knowing what I know now about the monsters of the Slaughterverse, I actually think Edwin might be a little dangerous. Just a teeny tiny bit. Just a teeny tiny bit. But in order to figure out what I mean with that, you have to read the series. And the artwork in this is just so pretty. Like, look at this. This isn't even the best. Like, these aren't even the best pages. It's just so good. I love everything about the Slaughterverse, and this one was definitely the best one I read this year. I read a bunch of them this year, but this one is certainly the best. Like, oh, look at this. So good. This is so good. I love this so much. Moving straight to the next visual thingamathing thing, the best manga I read this year has to go to Take Fight Island, Volume 1. for the title and the cover alone, but the concept too. I mean, it's a bunch of people who are elected. I guess they are elected, or at least they step up for their individual island and the culture on that island. And every couple of years, they literally dick it out. Who is the biggest dick in the business? How many times can I say dick in this video? And it's the whole concept is just ridiculous, but somehow the story is solid. The relationships are so cute. These characters are three-dimensional characters. And it's the whole package. Pun very much intended. So, yeah, it's definitely not necessarily for the faint of heart. I mean, it says Dick Fight Island on the front, and I can assure you there is a lot of dick fighting going on. I'm clearly just a 12-year-old laughing about dick jokes, and this whole thing is just a ginormous dick joke. Like, this gave me all I wanted, and so much more. And yeah, it's a really good manga. It's a really good manga, and I guess I can recommend everyone should read it, but like, not everyone. You have to know what you're getting into when you're picking up something that is called Dick Fight Island. And the final award goes to the best audiobook I listened to this year, and that one without a doubt has to go to All Systems Red by Martha Wells. This is the first entry in the Murderbot Diaries, and I listened to this earlier this year, and I have almost caught up with the whole series at this point. I am deeply in love, and the performance of the audiobook narrator for Murderbot is just so spot on and peak. It is just so good. It is a very simple audiobook where you just have the narrator, but the narrator is doing such a good job with the text that he has been given. Perfect. I just love this whole thing. And yes, I did watch the show, and I liked it. I liked the show. I thought it was funny. I liked it. Still, the audiobook narrator, kind of a better voice for Murderbot. Might only be because I listened to the audiobook first, and then the show came out and I watched the show. But I kind of like this take on Murderbot a bit more than the Skarsgård take on Murderbot. So, yeah. But amazing audiobook. Amazing book in general, but the audiobook is also chef's kiss. And there you have it. These are my 2025 book awards. I hope I remember to put these categories down somewhere where I can find them again next year, so we can do this again and then maybe play around with cool graphics and see what I read throughout a year. I don't know. There has to be a way to statistically analyze this somehow, right? I don't know. But yeah. This has been my book awards of 2025. Let me know what was your best read this year. And if you don't want to talk to me, hello, this is the end of the video, so leave a comment down there. If you don't want to talk to me, still, you can leave an emoji downstairs in my crotch area. That is very weird. But yeah, leave an emoji down there. Leave any kind of emoji down there, honestly. Like, at this point, I don't care. Just leave an emoji down there. And yeah, I guess I will see you in the next video. Bye.